Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about how janitorial service companies can drive predictable walkthroughs from outbound efforts on a month on month basis. I'm Kunal Jaju. I am the founder at Sidekick. We are a marketing and sales automation company and we help run outbound for B2B businesses. What I'd like to do in this specific video today is talk about the problems you're facing and the solution that we have in mind for you all. The problem, number one problem, in my opinion, is that you are relying very heavily on Google AdWords to be able to drive leads and drive walkthroughs. And it's not a problem. It will always give you results because the intent is extremely high. The problem, however, is that all your competitors who are trying to grow are also using Google AdWords. Now, what happens as a result of this is that the cost per walkthrough just keeps going up, right? I spoke to somebody recently, and to target a mid-sized office, 10 to 15,000 square feet, three, four times recurring business on a weekly basis. The cost of that walkthrough is between four and $6,000 at this point of time if you're relying on Google AdWords, and it's just going to get progressively worse. Now, for every one person, one company that goes to Google AdWords, my personal belief, and I don't have data to substantiate this, but my personal belief is that there are at least five businesses that are dissatisfied with their current provider but have not gone out to Google to actively search for them. And if you can figure out a way to target these passive buyers, and it might be a 3 month journey, but that's fine, right? Where you target them and you let them know you exist, you build trust, you build authority, you build recall. When the time comes and something happens, and they think, okay, now is the time to find somebody else, they're first going to think of you and come back to you. And what Sidekick can help you do is to be able to use cold emails to drive that value. Let me give you an example of how our entire process works. Now, say you're looking for day schools and almost preschools, and almost every janitorial services company I've spoken to, and I've not spoken to that many, they don't like daycare centers and preschools for some reason. But this is the example I had up and running, so I'm just going to go with it right now. So you go to Google Maps and you search for preschool in a particular zip code in a specific city, and you get a bunch of results out here. Now, what's possible to do today is to automatically pick up every single result that you see here. And you're going to find multiple pages of daycare centers. And you'll be able to pick up every single piece of detail that you see out here because this is public data. If you build the right scraper, you should be able to pick up this information. And I search for preschool, but you can search for any type of categories, right? There are thousands of categories. These are sorted by number of appearances. Let me know if you ever need access to this information, and I'll share it with you. But you could easily search for attorneys, you could search for real estate companies, you could search for churches. I know this is popular. You could search for restaurants, you could search for dental clinics, whatever is it that you want, as long as it's a small to mid-sized brick and mortar business, they are likely going to be on Google Maps. And if they are on Google Maps, you should be able to pick up this data. But we're not just talking about this data that you see out here, right? Let's take the example of a company called Vivi. Um, Everything that you see out here is public data as well. So their phone number, their website, their open and close times, how many reviews they have, what ratings do they have, what are the actual reviews. Everything is public data. So what you could do is the automation that you build or that we would build for you would pick up all this information and store it in a database. Here, I've just created a database to give you this example. You'll be able to, this is the search that you made. Here's the name of the business. You get the address, you get their location, you get their website, you get their working hours, you get the number of reviews they have, how many one star, how many five-star reviews they have, and so on and so forth. Now, this data by itself is not great because all you really have is a phone number to reach out to them. Now, this is going to be a fairly expensive exercise if you're going to rely on a phone number to be able to reach out to the company and then reach their board line and then try and go from there. How do you use this information to identify more information about that company? One unique identifier that you have is this website, right? So what you can do with this website is you can train your automation to visit the website. And now you look for a few things that how do I enrich my data to find the right people I need to contact? One thing to do is I want to find if their Facebook page is available because their Facebook page sometimes has an email. Their website sometimes has an email. So your automation effectively browses this website and it identifies hello at vv.com. So you're going to capture that email address because if it's a small to mid-sized company, there's a very high chance that the founder of the company is going to be controlling that email address. So you have access to that. You also find their Facebook page here. Now, if I visit VV's Facebook page, I'll notice that sometimes they also have an email address, and your automation would pick that up as well. So if the website does not have an email, it'll pick it up from Facebook. If the website has info at vv.com and Facebook has hello at vv.com, it's going to pick up both emails. Right, so that's what you will see out here. If you go further, we've gone ahead and we've enriched this data by visiting the website and picking up all the different links that are there on the website. Now, how big is the organization, right? What I can do is I can take their domain name, baby, and I can go to something called Apollo. Again, everything is programmatic, everything is done automatically. I can go to something called Apollo and I can search in Apollo for BB.com and I see that they have 85 employees. This is good now. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So we go ahead and we enrich that data here as well. And what you could do is if you're automatically scraping all of this data, you could set certain filters. That hey, I only want to talk to companies that have, at least have a website. I only want to talk to companies that have 5 reviews. I only want to talk to companies that have more than 50 employees. You could do different things out there. So that's what we do. Now you know that this is a large company. You have a couple of email addresses for them. However, you want to go further, right? You want to speak to the owner of the company. You want to speak to the people that are in charge of operations. What you do is you go back to Apollo now and you run a search in Apollo to identify the founders of the company and the people who are responsible for operations. And that's what you get, right? And then you pick up this information and you just go back to your database and you store it again in your database. Again, fully automated. So you're able to get their email addresses, their names, their titles. Hello at vv.com has come from the website and from the Facebook page as well. So you do that, and then you go to something called Million Verifier because you don't want to just send out emails to everybody. You want to make sure that these are actually valid emails. You paste them here, you start a verification. It's going to verify it for you. There's 15 minutes left, but this should happen faster. And all 5 emails are good emails, which means your bounce rate is going to be under 2% when you send out to them. What we actually do is we just don't go to Apollo to get email addresses, right? Because Apollo is going to give you about 40% coverage. What you got to do is you got to go to Apollo first, find the emails, validate it. If you don't find valid emails, then you go to another tool like Find Email, go to another tool like ICPs, Prospero. There's just a lot of tools you could use and build a waterfall. And then that's how you find the right email for the right person. But who is the right person? Usually it's going to be Apollo or LinkedIn Sales Navigator that's going to give you that information. But that's what we would do. That's how we go from a Google search, find the right business, qualify the business for size, for number of locations, find the right people, find the Facebook page of the company, visit the website, identify whatever you can, and then you build your database up. Now, the next question is how do you send the emails out? And a lot of people struggle with this, right? So, what we've done at Sidekick is we are also now responsible for building cold email infrastructure for our clients. Now, what I mean by cold email infrastructure is that we will buy multiple domains and we will set up one inbox per domain, and then we ensure that no more than 50 emails go out from any one domain at any one day. So if we are looking at, say, um, ABC commercialcleaningcompany.com. What we might do is we might buy abcmailserver1.com, abcmailserver2.com, and use that to send out your cold emails. That's how we build cold email infrastructure. There's a lot that we do, but usually with the email infra that we build, our delivery rates are high. Our open rates are going to be north of 60, 70%, and our reply rates are going to be fairly good too. Now, we have the data, we have the email infrastructure. Next comes the content. It's important to be able to structure cold email content in a way that's going to speak to your target audience. The idea of cold emails is you're not looking to speak to 100 out of 100 people you're reaching out to. You're really looking at connecting very deeply with 5 or 10 people. And your hope is that 3 or 4 out of 100 people put their hands up and say, Hey man, that content that you sent me spoke directly to me. How the heck did you know about everything that I'm going through right now? Take my money and go. That's what you want, right? Just three or four people to respond back to that, and you have a hugely successful campaign. So, our strategy with the cold email content is that you tailor it to a very tight group of people and speak directly to them. And it's okay if you alienate everybody else, speak directly to them, at least when you're sending them the initial first few emails. And that's what we do with our cold emails. Now, what I'd like to highlight a little bit is the outcomes that you could potentially expect with this. And my take out here is that you should be able to do in the first quarter. Again, depending on if you're targeting small businesses, large businesses, who you're targeting, but in the first quarter, you should be able to drive about, I would think, 10 to 15 walkthroughs because you're still getting set up, you're still getting the lay of the land, you're still understanding your targeting messaging fit. And after that, you should be able to scale that up by the end of the year to about 10 to 15 walkthroughs on a monthly basis. That's the direction that you're going to try and go to. Um, Now, if you target larger businesses, right, you do not want to target restaurants. You do not like people calling you in for ad hoc work or it's a small location. You want the larger businesses. You want the corporate offices where they have 50 to 100, 50 to 500 employees. Then Google Maps is not the right place, in my opinion. You need to go to LinkedIn then. You need to identify the companies on LinkedIn, identify the folks in procurement and admin and facility management on LinkedIn, and then find their emails and then do everything else that way. And the other thing you should also do with that, and I'll create a separate video for that, but the other thing you should also do with that is you should also be looking at those folks for potentially nurturing them. You send them a series of emails initially to make them aware that, hey, I exist. Some people who are in that zone, they're passively already thinking about it, they're unhappy, they'll come back to you and say, hey, give me some meeting time. So you get lucky there, right? But this is a long term play. What you got to do if you're going to LinkedIn and trying to nurture people for those larger accounts is you got to keep reaching out to them every 6 to 8 weeks. You're doing two things here. You're building top of the mind recall and you're building trust and authority. That, hey, when it comes to cleaning your office for 250 employees on a daily basis, no one is thinking about that more deeply than we are. You want to build that in their mind so that whenever the time comes, whenever they're unhappy, you're at the top of their mind and you've built up enough trust over the last 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 months so that they come back to you and say, hey, I'm ready for you now. You've been bothering me for the last 18 months. I'm ready for you now. We call this building relationships at scale. And that's something we do as well, but that's for another video. Um, what do we charge for our services? So we have traditionally not been supporting commercial cleaning companies. This is fairly new for us. Actually, I do have that. I can share that screen with you. So we've not been working with commercial cleaning companies just yet. We've been doing this for other organizations and we've been seeing a lot of success where we go off Google Maps. So we thought we'd reach out to commercial cleaning companies because it just makes a great fit. So what we're doing initially is we're charging a fixed monthly retainer of $2,500 a month, a city that we would cover for you. Now, if you don't have the confidence in us, which I don't think you will, since we don't have a lot of track record in your specific industry, we have a second plan that we're running for a few months right now to get some case studies in place where we'll charge you $1,000 a month per city and we'll charge you a performance fee of $250 per walkthrough that we drive for you. So yeah, these are the two pricing plans that we have. If you're interested, you could just visit our website. It's get-sidekick.com. I don't know why we have the hyphen in there, but that's what it is. So get-sidekick.com and click on book a demo. Our team has put this button in more places than I would like, but yeah, you won't miss it. So click on book a demo and block some time with me, and then we can walk through what you've done in the past, what are the numbers that you're seeing, what's your cost of acquisition right now, and then whether this is right for you or not. And if not Google Maps, maybe you could talk about LinkedIn and larger companies as well. So yeah, thanks, folks. Thanks for your time. Have a good day. See ya. Bye.